Welcome to Hunter Beyond Time and Space Chapter 13. Someone. Compared to the last time he traveled, Qingchen was much calmer this time. He was waiting for the world to break apart and reassemble, as if waiting for a dream to end. In the cramped and narrow bedroom, Qingchen still sat on the edge of the bed in the same position as before he traveled. It was nighttime outside, and he still held the bone-cutting knife he had originally brought with him. Everything seemed as if it had never happened. Frowning, Qingchen pulled out his phone from his pocket and checked the time. September 28, 2022, 12 hours and 1 second. 1 second past midnight. He clearly remembered that he traveled back in time on September 28, at exactly 12 hours. In other words, he had spent 2 days in that world, while only 1 second had passed on Earth. Likewise, when he returned, only 1 second had passed there. This should be the rule for all time travelers. For some reason, thinking about this made Qingchen breathe a sigh of relief. Now he wouldn't have to explain to anyone why he disappeared for a time. It was a very eerie feeling of detachment, as if the world he was in now was no longer real. Qingchen looked down at his arm. The bruise he had intentionally caused was still there. But the white pattern on his other arm had changed, counting down from 47 hours 59 minutes and 45 seconds. 47 hours 59 minutes and 44 seconds. This countdown was for 48 hours, or 2 days. Only these could prove to him that everything he had experienced was real. He really had been to a mechanical civilization, had met a man named Li Shutong, been tested by a nightmare by a person named Lin Xiaoxiao, and even encountered a dog-like person named Lu Guanyi. There was a calm man named Jiwan and a strange big cat there too. As Qingchen was deep in thought, his phone suddenly rang with an unfamiliar landline number. "Hello," Qingchen said. "Hello, this is the Wangqing Road Police Station. Your father has been detained for gambling, please come over to handle the procedure," a female voice on the other end of the phone said. Qingchen was taken aback. According to the time, his gambling father had been caught not long ago, and he didn't expect the police station to call him so soon. Why do I need to go?" Qingchen asked. According to the Public Security Administration punishment law, he needs to be detained and fined. "Please come and handle the procedure," the duty officer at the police station said. "I'm sorry, I won't go. Please punish him to the maximum extent according to the Public Security Administration punishment law, which stipulates that those who commit serious offenses shall be detained for no less than 10 days but no more than 15 days, and fined no less than 500 yuan but no more than 3,000 yuan. "Thank you," Qingchen shook his head and said. The other party was also taken aback. "Aren't you his son?" Qingchen replied, "I reported the case. I am not his son, I am a warm-hearted citizen named Qing." The duty officer at the police station was puzzled. Qingchen hung up the phone without hesitation. His gambling father would be detained for at least 10 days, which meant he wouldn't see him again until after he traveled back in time next time. For some reason, Qingchen felt happy and relaxed at this thought. But for a teenager, it was not easy to bear the feeling of his father being detained and reprimanded loudly by others. Most teenagers consider their fathers as role models during their youth. Once you discover that your father has a bad reputation and no dignity, one of the walls in your heart suddenly collapses. Qingchen took a deep breath and lay down slowly on the bed. He opened his phone and checked his call log and WeChat, but he didn't see any messages from his mother. For some reason, at that moment, he even wanted to go back to that prison ahead of time. Even though it was an unknown and dangerous world. It was already past 1 o'clock in the morning, and Qingchen couldn't sleep. The dim room was illuminated only by the light from his phone screen. The screen displayed the canon sheet music he had just found, with every detail already memorized in his mind. This was a lifelong regret for Li Shutong, but it was effortless for Qingchen to obtain it. Perhaps this was the difference between being in different worlds, where there were things that Qingchen had longed for in others' possession. But should he give the sheet music to Li Shuhong? If he did, how would he explain the origin of the sheet music? This was a risky thing to do, and although Qingchen wasn't afraid of taking risks, he was afraid of taking risks that weren't worth it. Therefore, he had to make sure that Li Shuhong was worth it before giving him the sheet music. In the end, he still didn't receive a call or message from his mother. On the first day of the countdown, at 7:30 in the morning, Qingchen changed into his blue and white school uniform and left the house while eating instant noodles. The foreign language high school he attended, Luoqing Foreign Language School, was divided into 3 campuses a few years ago. The high school department was only a 5-minute walk from his home and he just had to cross a small road to get there. On Xinjiang Road, the breakfast stand selling egg pancakes wafted a fragrant smell. Pedestrians would sit at the small stalls and eat a hot bowl of tofu pudding or spicy soup. The newly fried dough sticks were golden and crispy, the tea eggs were smooth and transparent. But Qingchen was broke, and his few savings were used to purchase supplies for the countdown. Thinking about it now, it made him cringe, but he didn't regret it. After all, who knew what he would be facing at that time? In Class 3 of the second year of high school, the student in charge of cleaning was cleaning the classroom. The smell of the water used to mop the floor had not dissipated, and the mop was probably moldy for a long time. Qingchen sat in the back row, and his desk mate, Nanging Chen, hurriedly walked into the classroom with a nervous look on his face. "Did Ms. Du see me skipping class yesterday? Did she say anything afterwards?" Qingchen asked in a low voice. Nanging Chen seemed absent-minded and didn't seem to have heard anything. "Huh? What?" "It's okay," Qingchen shook his head. "Why do you look so nervous?" "Nervous?" Nanging Chen was surprised. "Nothing." Qingchen didn't say anything. If the other person didn't want to talk, he didn't need to pry. After a moment of silence, Nanging Chen suddenly lowered his voice and asked, "Qingchen, what would you do if you encountered something particularly strange? Weird?" Qingchen was taken aback, then looked at Nanging Chen carefully, hesitated for a moment and asked, "What specific event are you referring to?" "I don't know what it is, but it's very strange," Nanging Chen said. "Then call the police." Qingchen locked his gaze on Nanging Chen. Nanging Chen's eyes lit up. "Yes, find the police." "Qingchen, does your family have someone in the police station?" "Yes," Qingchen thought for a moment and said, "My father was just arrested for gambling yesterday." Nanging Chen. Thank you for listening to this episode of the audio novel, The Naming of Night. If you enjoyed this channel, click subscribe to get more fascinating English audio novels. Don't forget to comment below or share on social media to let us know your thoughts. See you next time.